How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and we are on NPR. This story came across my desk, and I had to do it. I've not really read it. I just kind of briefly skimmed like the first couple of sentences just to make sure I'm in the right place, that I'm not being trolled or what have you. But you see the headline over my left-hand shoulder. White skin, black emojis. Now, I guess there's an issue with people using black emojis. Maybe it's racism. Maybe it's white privilege. I don't really know what this is. To be perfectly honest and fair, this is an opinion piece by a writer by the name of Kumari Devarajan. I checked that person out. I think that's some kind of Punjabi or some kind of Indian from India, red dot Indian. So that gives you a little bit of background about what's going to happen here. But let's get into the article and see what it says. Okay. And, I guess you got all these different color hands here, and that's causing the big ruckus, a big kerfuffle. Now, I wonder at what skin tone does black emojis start? Because think about this. You see my skin tone. I guess I'm like right in between this one and this one. Okay. Now where does black begin? Is it here? Is it here? Because this person, Kumari, they're from India. It's a lot of dark skinned Indians, darker than me, my complexion, like this or like that. What about those over there? What about the one that appears to be white? I've seen some so-called black folks that have that complexion. So at what point do you even have black emojis? I don't really know, but let's see what they say in this article. Trying to pick the right emoji to convey exactly what you're feeling, excitement, fear, existential dread, can be tough. What makes it more complicated? All those different skin tones. So this is what we're talking about. The complications of different skin tones of emojis. On Ask Code Switch, we take your trickiest questions about race and identity. This week, we're tackling a letter from Kristen Gelfand, 38, in Toronto. She writes, "My daughter, a very conscious 15-year-old queer." Wait a minute. I'm not really understanding why she's calling her daughter a queer. I guess that's like her daughter's preferred identity term. Maybe she said, "Hey, mom, you know what? Rather than calling me by my name or referring to me as, baby girl, whatever, I want you to call me queer." I don't know, but I digress. A white girl, that's also kind of problematic in my opinion. A queer white girl, that's what you're calling your own daughter. That's weird. Has recently started using black hand emojis. We discuss race and politics all the time at home. She even listens to your podcast with me sometimes. We live in a diverse neighborhood of a diverse city. As a family and on her own, our daily lives include many friendships and interactions with people of color, POC. I hate that term so much, by the way, POC, because you might as well just say colored people. That's what it is. People of color. Flip it backwards. What does it say? Color of people. Take out the of, put an ED on the end of color, and you have colored people. It's the same term. It's just dressed up in bougie-fied for 2018, but I'll move on. So my question is, do I speak to her about using the emojis? And this is where the opinion piece writer comes in from NPR's Code Switch. And Code Switch, by the way, if you don't know what that means, that's like if you are a black person or a so-called person of color, you want to use your own dialect around white people. You'll switch the way you speak in front of white people, and that's like code switching, okay? All right, but let's get back to it. Hey there, Kristen, wave emoji. So I guess you can't even use emojis right here because that's problematic. It's sensitive. We got to have good folks in this space that are going to let you unpack the way they feel. I don't know, but let's keep going. If your daughter is like me, she believes an emoji is worth 1,000 words. When a friend invites me over for dinner, I like to respond with a thumbs up emoji, but no emoji there. How else do you efficiently convey, yes, what a great idea, I'm excited, but not too excited? The problem is the emoji you choose might be sending the wrong message. A text that reads as playful to one person might come off as insensitive to another. We'll get into some of the reasons in a sec. there are a lot of reasons your daughter might be using black hand emojis. It sounds like she cares about the well-being of the people of color around her, and she's probably not trying to cause offense. So maybe she feels that black hand emojis better convey what she's trying to communicate, or maybe she thinks using them is a good way to show solidarity with her friends of color. But there's a problem here. When we step into the digital world, it's easy to feel like we can leave our RRL, which is in real life, identities behind. But the power dynamics that exist in real life don't disappear just because we're hidden behind the screen. Now, I want to see how she brings this all home. I feel like she's building up to a crescendo. I want to see how she really just, puts a little cherry on top of this. But let's keep going. So yes, you should absolutely speak to your daughter about the implications of using emojis that don't match your racial identity. And the first step is to ask some questions. Let's pause right here. Racial identity. I was taught and I was told that you could choose your own identity to be whatever you want to be, right? Like this person, the daughter, has chosen the identity of being a queer white girl, right? That's her identity. Why can't she choose to be a different race? Okay, we've already tackled the whole transgender issue. Why not trans race like Rachel Dolezal, Sean King, and many others? Why not? If you're talking about identity, but I digress. Questions like, is her use of the emojis intentional or something that she just happened to do one day? Or, say, Samantha Kemp Jackson, what are you trying to say that you can't say in the color of your own skin? But wait a minute here. Color of your skin and racial identity, isn't that two different things? Because there's a lot of black folks who look just like this skin color right here on the backside of my hand. And you see me, this is my color, okay? And you got some black folks that are like this right here that are that skin color. I got them in my family. I got everybody. I have all shades of all colors in my family, but we all black. So if a black person posts a dark skin emoji, is that problematic as well? Do they got to post a light skin emoji? If they post a light skinned emoji, are they trying to denounce their blackness? You see where this little rabbit hole goes? This is really a stupid issue, but we're going to keep going to see how they unpack this, as my man Ta-Nehisi Coates would say. Kemp Jackson, a parenting expert and writer, says kids are more open to learning when they have a voice in a discussion. She says asking your daughter about her texting habits will allow her to think more deeply about what she's doing. If your daughter believes that black skin is an inherent part of her message, she adds, then she needs to think harder about what it is about black skin that enhances her message. Does she think her raised fist emoji looks more revolutionary when she paints it black? Her clapping hands, this thing here, more rhythmic. Her praise hands more dramatic. Her painted nails sexier. Okay, let's pause. Now, let's ask the person who's asking these questions, do you think that? Do you think that a black fist emoji is revolutionary? Do you think that the clapping hands is more rhythmic? Like, that's what we're good at, singing, dancing. I mean, that's fine if you think that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because you don't have stereotypes that are born from nowhere. However, if you think that, why is it wrong for her to think that? I don't get it. If that turns out to be the case, then you should explain to her that she is playing up harmful stereotypes about black people, even if that's not her intent. Why are they harmful? That's what I want to know. You and your daughter already talk about race a lot, so treat this as part of that ongoing discussion. You can explain to her that as a white person, she has a lot of privilege, both on her phone and face to face. So we're talking about text privilege, really? That's what we're going to talk about for real? Phone privilege, email privilege. What kind of privilege is that? I mean, I don't understand. What kind of privilege does a white person have when they text? By trying on black skin when it is fun, safe, and convenient, your daughter is inadvertently trivializing the experiences of real black people. She's trying on black skin by sending an emoji that has a darker shade of skin than her own. Now, I'm not the one bringing up skin color and skin shade. This person who is talking right now, or is being quoted right now, they're the one that brought up skin color. So you're trying on black skin by sending an emoji on your phone? Really? Okie dokie. A white teenager can walk into a store and they don't feel at that point that they want to be black, says Kemp Jackson. Unlike your daughter, black people can't choose when to invoke their blackness. If she's not convinced yet, it might help to crack open the annals of the emoji history. Okay, so is there an emoji history book? Like, who's going to write that book? Is it going to be one of these crazy leftists that writes a book about racial privilege and emojis? Is it going to be, are you going to have the iPhone emojis, the Windows emojis, or the Android emojis? You tell me. You let me know in the comments below what emojis should be included. Are there some that are more offensive than others? Is the skin tone not quite right? I don't really know. Before we could wave, clap, and flip someone off in 6 different skin tones, emojis were just yellow, Simpsons yellow. This default universal cartoon skin was based off of Caucasian skin tones. Now, okay, you could say the Simpsons were based off of white people, but I never seen anybody with Simpson skin tone color in real life. If you have seen a person with the Simpson skin tone in real life, or the Bart Simpson or Lisa Simpson hair with the, the stars and all this and that, if you've seen that in real life and it wasn't cosplay, you let me know in the box below. And FYI, even on the Simpsons, black and brown characters were drawn with black and brown. Well, yeah, that's right. That's fine. That's fair. For a lot of people of color, those yellow emojis weren't us. Our praise hands always felt a little jaundiced. I mean, like, praise hands, that's whatever you want it to be. Clapping hands, that's not necessarily praise hands. So do you think that painting or like, I don't know, the clapping hands or the little hands that go like this? Like, I just got my smartphone recently. I had a BlackBerry before. I couldn't even do emojis. So I'm new to the emoji culture. Okay. I use this emoji right here all the time, and I don't care what color it's in. I'm conveying the message that I'm thinking. I guess you're talking about these hands with the little rays on it, or that. I didn't know that had to necessarily be praise hands, but we'll move on. It wasn't until 2015 that we got another 5 skin tones to choose from. Now I can virtually high five my friends with a brown hand that looks more like mine. But white people never wound up taking to the lighter skin emojis. Andrew McKill at The Atlantic found that white emoji users err on the side of the yellow default rather than the colors that more closely match their skin. Because, like, how was that an error? How was that an error? I mean, it's a default thing to send. Maybe, just maybe, white folks aren't so concerned about race like a lot of black folks are. Maybe that's what it is. Like me, I don't care about the color of the emoji. I might change it occasionally just to be dramatic, but it's not really a big deal to me. I use whatever's there. Why might that be? Before, when white people sent a high five over text, it didn't have to be about race. For people of color, it was. Whenever we sent that high yellow 5, we were reminded that brown and black hands were not an option. That's only if you are so concerned and consumed with race. McGill writes that now that there are options when white people send a high five with white skin, it feels like sending a white high five. For people who are used to thinking of their skin as a default, acknowledging whiteness in the digital hand gestures can feel deeply uncomfortable. Really? After all, what does it mean to send a white high five or a white hang loose sign or even a white raised fist? Using certain white emojis might feel a little weird to your daughter. She probably doesn't want to assert her whiteness in every text conversation. I mean, maybe she's not, I don't know, man. Like, maybe people don't think that way. Not everybody thinks race all the time. But her discomfort is a product of her privilege, and that isn't a good enough reason to try on someone else's skin. So if she finds herself reaching for those black hands, she should think twice. If she needs them to help with her message, she's probably not the right person to be saying it in the first place. Okay, I was trying to see if there's any comments here. I don't see any comments, but this was really crazy. I mean, look, at the end of the day, as I close, who cares? You could, it's just an emoji. It's not that deep. Same thing with memes and GIFs. It's not really that deep. Sometimes, like, I talk about memes right quick, or GIFs. A lot of times you'll see a white person using a GIF of black people in it. Somebody might get offended by that. Like, they're trying to mock people. Maybe they just enjoy the GIF and the meme the same as you. That's why it's a GIF and the meme in the first place, because it's enjoyed by a lot of people. You would think that when you have different races of people using different skin tones of emojis, that points to a society that's not so consumed with race. Because if this was like what people think that it is, this white supremacist society, then why would anybody white use the black emojis to represent themselves if that's what's happening. Some are going to talk about minstrel shows and stuff like that, but that's not even this. This is just really simple. It's harmless. It's nothing. The option is available. Why not use it? Is it something that's illegal? Is it ethically wrong? Is it morally wrong to use an option that's available on your phone? And why is this even the issue we're talking about at all? We're talking about emojis, gifs, and memes. It didn't even mention gifs and memes. That probably would have been a big, crazy long article. We're talking about emojis here. So at the end of the day, to the mom that's watching, just let your daughter be a little girl. All this, gender queer and all this and that. Just let her be a little girl. Don't worry about her race. Don't worry about none of that. Just allow her to have fun with her friends, and that's it. So what do you think? Do you think that if you are not a black person, you can't use a black emoji? And is it just about white versus black, or white versus everybody else, white versus people of color? Because I didn't hear this person, Kumari, say what emojis she can use. Obviously, she's not black or white. You're talking about she's from the Indian subcontinent. So which one of these emojis, which one of these skin tones can she use for her emojis? Okay. If she uses the darker skin, is she like trying to mock the Dravidians who live in the south of the continent? Yes, I know about that. Is she trying to be more like Europeans? She uses the more fair-skinned emojis, like this one way over there that appears to be white. Punjabis, from what I know, are very, very fair-skinned. Like, all of these skin tones are darker than them, except for that one over there, like at the bottom left. So, I don't know. It's dumb. Use whatever emoji you want to use. Who cares? It's not really a big deal. Somebody get offended. Oh, well. There's more important things. There's more pressing things to be offended about than the color of an emoji. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.